Hi guys, it is Thursday, which means it is my favorite day of the week because I get to hang out with you guys. If this is your first time being here, I want to give you guys a little shout out and say thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in with me live today. And also, if you've been here for like multiple weeks, we've been doing this for over a year now, like 13 months now together. Actually, like today. I think it's like exactly 13 months today. So thank you guys so much, no matter who you are, if you're brand new or if you've been a part of the family for a while. Thanks for being here. I'm super excited to kind of dive into something that has been around for a little while, about a month now, but we just made a really awesome enhancement to it. We're going to talk about one of those things first. And then I also want to talk about something that I don't know if you guys are utilizing as much as you probably could or should for your own Etsy shops. So today we're going to be talking about two different EverBee features and kind of deep diving into exactly how you can use it in your own business. So I am going to screen share and kind of show you a couple of things and take you like really behind the scenes of how I personally utilize them, and then how you can look at each of the individual things within each of the tools to figure out if it's something that you want to do as well. So with that said, of course, if you have any questions along the way, you guys know what to do. Or if this is your first time, you might not know what to do. Just drop a question or a comment or anything. Even just tell me like where you're tuning in from, like any of those kinds of things. Give me a high five emoji, like whatever you want to do. You can drop that in the live chat of this live stream at any time. Or if you're actually watching the replay to this, if you couldn't join us at 10 a.m. On Thursday, that's also totally fine. You can just drop a comment below, and I'm the one that receives all of those. So I will be directly responding back to you. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen real fast and talk about the two things that I wanted to kind of hit on today. I think today is probably going to be a shorter one. Usually we'll go for like an hour. 2 weeks ago, we went for 2 hours. That one was long. I'm so sorry. And for everyone that stayed with me the whole time, God bless you, because it was a long one. It was a long one for everyone, including myself. So today, I think we're just going to take it easy. We're going to take it slow. I'm probably going to let you guys out of here in like 30 minutes or so. We're just really going to go over two things that I think could be beneficial. And again, how I do it on the back end. So shouldn't take too long today, but I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. All right, so you guys should be looking at Etsy right now. I hope you are. And we are going to be actually, you know what? I kind of want to hit on three things. I lied. There's one other thing that I think you might have been seeing, but you might not have been like utilizing all the time, like I don't want to say as appropriately as you should, but maybe not like as much as you should. So let's actually just hit on that first, since we're already here. So when we're in Etsy, we can type in anything. So let's just say, for today's purposes, Mother's Day gifts, for example. And when we do that, no matter what we do, as long as we have the EverBee Chrome extension downloaded, so as long as you see this little panel on the left-hand side while you're in Etsy, this one first thing that I kind of wanted to hit on, and we talked a little bit about this on our Etsy audits recently during the past couple weeks of live streams, but I just want to hit on it again. So this right here, these little baby panels is what I'm going to call them, they are new as of, I believe, November or December of 2024. So this is something that I personally just think is a really, really good tool to use that not a lot of people are using because it is a new feature. So a lot of people are going to, including myself, by the way, they're going to type in Mother's Day gifts, and then maybe they will use the keyword search bar. Hold on, I might have to refresh it so it pops back up with what I want. Yeah. So you might just use this this search bar to find like the keywords that you want. So like when you go to click in this, and then you'll start to see like the worker bees kind of get to work. Mine are taking a very long time. I don't know what's going on. There we go. All right. So you might just utilize this when you first get here, and then you might click see more to go look at the keywords. So that might be a tool that you have in your toolbox already. That's something that we've had for a while. And you also might go to Mother's Day gifts and then come over here and click product analytics, mostly because I told you guys to, like, multiple times in the past. So it totally makes sense that that's just naturally like inclination. That is where we go. However, instead of going through all of this, this is definitely an option still. But instead of doing that, we also have the ability now to just see it high level right here, right in Etsy, right on the search page that you did. So the first thing that I personally like to do to be able to make these as easy to view and read and find the most like the ones that make the most sense for me right now, obviously like what's actually selling, I'm going to go to all filters. I'm going to come over here down to star seller. And if you were on the Etsy audits last week, you already know what I'm doing, but I'm just going to show everybody in case anybody is new here. And I'm going to filter out to all seller, or excuse me, star seller, but then I'm also going to come back up in here and change star to best. And what that's going to do is now give me a list of best sellers under Mother's Day gifts that Etsy is showing are either best sellers or popular nows in this, under this this phrase. So now I have a little bit better of an understanding when I look at each of these tools high level. So this one I'm actually surprised because it only says like 3 monthly sales. So I'm not entirely sure what's going on there. But all the other ones you can see like 1,000 sales, 225 sales, 173, etc. So you can actually look at these little things high level and then determine if you want to get into them. Okay. So what I would usually do is go to product analytics, put in some of my filters, and then scroll until I found something that I wanted to look at. And then I would click on the listing details. But this kind of gives you a high level overview without having to go those extra steps. Obviously, that does mean we have to scroll through things. So of course, you're either scrolling here or you're scrolling on the product analytics dashboard. It's up to you. Obviously, also on the product analytics dashboard, you can filter out by more things. That's kind of the whole reason that it exists. So you can do listing age, you can do shop age, you can do how many favorites there were, etc. So obviously that is the reason why we would really want to fine tune over there. But let's just say we wanted to also utilize this kind of like high level overview. I want to spotlight a couple of things that would make me want to click into a listing to get more information about it. So let's say I'm just going to go literally metric by metric. It's going to be easiest to show that. So the first thing that we're going to see is monthly sales. The second thing is going to be views. So how many total views has this listing received? So that doesn't mean like click-throughs because that would be considered a visit, right? But views is just like people like scanned over this. They maybe hovered for a couple of seconds. That's considered a view. And then con rate is just going to be our conversion rate. So basically what the conversion rate is how many total sales versus how many total views. That's our conversion rate, okay? Or I guess click-throughs as well. And then our listing age, obviously, is like, how old is this listing? Like, is it even worth my time? So while I am perusing through these and I'm kind of just like, my eyes go pretty quick on these and figure out like which ones I'm interested in clicking into, those are the main things that I'm going to be looking at. But a lot of people are going to put precedence on something like 100,000 views, 175,000 views, 102,000 views, etc. And while those are beautiful, what I really actually personally put precedence on is going to be the listing age and the conversion rate. Because even if this number is super high, this number might be low. Or this number might be super high, but then this number might be 3 years. The listing age might have been around for, 36 months at this point. So that's what I personally like. My eyes naturally gravitate towards is, technically speaking, a high conversion rate would be anything over like 4 to 5%. That's usually considered high. And then like standard, like healthy, where you want to be, would be between like 2 to 3.5%, 4%, give or take. So when I'm seeing like 1.59% and it's 16 months old, I'm like, ooh, maybe I want to skip over that. But if I just went off of the 49,000, I might have been interested in looking into it. And I don't want to say waste my time. I don't think it's a waste of time by looking into listings, by doing extra research by any means. But if I would have looked at these things first and foremost, that might have deterred me, right? And then same thing here. Like I'm seeing, oh shoot, this is 4.56%. That's great. And it's also just a little bit over a year old. So maybe that's something I want to get into. So some things to look at there is I usually start here and then I go here to clarify. So another quick example of what I'm alluding to is this one's 16 months old, which is a little bit too old for me personally, but we are seeing a 4.4% conversion rate. So I'm like, okay, that's telling me that like this listing is potentially doing well. However, this is like my first category. So if I were to pretend that these weren't here and I'm just looking at this, I'm like, okay, that might mean that something is working. But then whenever I figure out what computes to the conversion rate, I might not be as inclined to look into it. So I hope that makes sense as to what I mean by I kind of look at the right metrics first, and then I look at the left metrics to confirm and if I want to get into it. The next thing I want to go through with this really quickly is you also, which I already did right here, which is hilarious. But you can also do something without even looking at the listing details. So if we want to look at the listing details, let's say this one. This is actually a really, really good example. 5.15% conversion rate is green. It's like very healthy. That's something we definitely love. And it's a year or under a year old. And I'm seeing these numbers are really healthy. So of course, if I want to, I can click on this button and go straight to the listing details. Okay. So that's something that I can do. But if I am just trying to collect data for a second and I want to just scroll through a lot of these, I also have the ability to just click add listing to favorites. And that's something that I don't think a lot of people are using, but it just makes your like research time a little bit better simply because it can be a list of things that you've already favorited rather than a giant list that Etsy gives you. So in this case, let's say I wanted to favorite this one. You can see listing added successfully. And let's find another one together. Oh, this is a good one. It's a little bit older than I would like though. I'm not loving that, but I am loving like estimated monthly sales. Like that is healthy. Let's keep looking though. See if I can find a better one I like. This one's better. Okay. So it's not as high in monthly sales that I would like, but it is a good conversion rate. So while people are coming here and they're seeing it and they're clicking through, they're also purchasing. So it's a healthy conversion rate and it's less than a month old. And I do see something like this going higher as we get closer to Mother's Day. But I also see something like this being evergreen. So that's another thing that my mind is telling me that I'm like, okay, I think that will do well all year long, not just obviously during Mother's Day. So let's do another one here. And let's do one more together, just so I can show you. I promise there's a reason that we're talking about all of this. Let's go to page 2. And every time you go to a new page, by the way, it will kind of refresh with your Chrome extension. So all these things will start to add up like you see. I actually might go back to, oh, here we go. I like this one. Okay, this is perfect. Okay, so dang, that's amazing. A 6.21%. So we're even higher than the original one. Conversion rate, absolutely amazing. And it's a year or less than a year old. And that is a beautiful average monthly sales. So let's go ahead and add this one. So then now you might be wondering, okay, first of all, what was the purpose of that? And then where do I even find these things? Super easy. You can either do it, you can either do it in EverBee by simply coming over here, logging into everbee.io, and then you'll be able to now see them within your favorites. So it'll be right here over on the left. And I'm not entirely sure because I just added a bunch of, stuff, obviously, but it should be, let's see. I think, is that it? Hold on. Is that what I just did? Personalized compact mirror. There we go. Okay. I had to figure it out. But the good news is too, I can even further dive down a little bit and then say, let's say we want this one and we want Tired Moms Club, the one that we just did together. And then I forgot the other one that I did, to be honest. I think it was this one that we did together. So let's just say we want those 3. And let's say you had 20 of them. Like you went through and you starred a bunch of things. You can easily click this button right here once you have them selected, and then click which folder you want them to go to or which group you want them to go to. Or maybe you want new group. Maybe you want it to be, what is today? 320. So maybe you want it to be like 320, 25, research, whatever you want to call it. Like you could do that and you can make your own group and then we can click create. And then now that's going to be up here in its own folder. Okay. So now we can click on this folder and, well, of course, it didn't work in my favor. Buddies, where are you? Hold on, let me refresh it. I swear, every time I'm trying to show something like in person, no matter what I'm doing, I always have the worst luck at bugs that I encounter on accident. Like I think I did something wrong. Okay, so for some reason, it's not working as well as I had hoped today. And I do apologize, guys. I'll make sure with the team too that did I do something wrong there? I think that I put it in there, but for some reason, oh, you know what? Ha, hold on. I think I have an idea. Bear with me. Bear with me for one hot second. I think I have to do this. Okay, I was right. Okay, I'm so sorry. Okay, so we need to create the group first. This is all new to me too, guys. So we're kind of playing around with it. But we need to create the group first, and then we need to pre-select the items we want to go into that group. So I apologize, but I'm glad that we actually went through that together today. So in case you guys ever run into that, you know exactly how to fix it because I did it in real time with you. So what I was getting at was we have this now in our favorites, which going back to the original reason I wanted to bring this up, now we have a list. And let's just say again, your list was 20, your list was 50, like all the different things that you favorited from your search. We now have a product analytics dashboard. Just like we would have if we were just standardly in the keyword research, or excuse me, if we were standardly in Etsy using the keyword or the key phrase, but now it is a more fine-tuned list. And now we can also do something like if we want to filter it by shop age, if we want to filter it by number of, reviews or the number of favorites, whatever you want to do. And then you can obviously bring the smallest amount to the top, the biggest amount to the top. It's completely up to you. But then the third thing that I really, really love about this is you can also click on tag analytics. And this will allow you to see all of the different tags. As you can see, we're currently looking at 39, all the different tags for the 3 listings that I was currently favoriting. Okay, so being able to see all of this in the product analytics dashboard could have absolutely happened, but then your list might have been like 2 million long. And then you have to filter until you get down to a list of maybe like 1,800 listings. But if you are interested in the option of just favorite, by also first and foremost making sure that you're doing star seller to best seller, that's basically going to show us all the things that are selling well. So instead of having to like put that into product analytics, this is also just an extra little workaround that I like to use. So just something that I thought was kind of cool that I wanted to share with you guys that I personally use all the time, and I don't think a lot of other people are using. And then being able to also put it into different places and come back to it and delete things from it if you want to. And like you can build your favorites just like this, and you can delete things, you can add things, you can create even more individual, as you can see here, I have cake toppers, jewelry, Stanley examples, etc. And then you can also come through like this one, for example, boy mama outfit. Like maybe I wouldn't have thought about that as something that necessarily made sense for any of the 3 things that I was looking up, but maybe that's something that I am interested in selling, or I'm interested in using as a tag. Like it's not as high, of course, as what I would like, but this is a pretty number in competition. So it's not as high in search, but it is good on competition. So maybe this is something that I wouldn't have found had I not gone this direction. So anyways, wanted to show you that really fast. And like I said, you can go to everbee.io, log in, go to favorites, and that's how you can find all of those. Or if you're in Etsy and you don't want to log into EverBee, just come over to your panel, favorites, and it's going to be the exact same place. And it'll be keeping you in Etsy. So the difference is this is in EverBee, obviously. This is in Etsy, and then you can click the X and go right back to searching. So that is number 1. That was kind of like something that I didn't plan on sharing with you guys, but I do think that being able to utilize the high level listing details is going to help you guys out on research a lot. Hopefully you agree from what I just showed you. If not, that was a waste of 18 minutes and 24 seconds of all of our lives. So with that said, let's get into number 2. So let's go back to one of the ones that I chose. This guy right here, for example. It's 12 months old. Actually, I have a better idea. I'm going to choose one that's a little bit older, and you guys are going to see why in a second. Okay, so let's choose this one. Family name necklace, personalized. It's still good, great views. It's still like a little bit less than I would like, but it's still a good conversion rate. And it's 40 months old. So I said I wanted to look for something older than 12 months, and here's the reason why. When we click on listing details, obviously you have all of this stuff up here. So your normal stuff, let me zoom in a little bit so you guys can see what I see. There we go. All right, so you guys can see the title, you can see the price, monthly sales, revenue, listing age, blah, blah, blah. So all of this has been a thing for all time, pretty much since listing details existed. But now the change that I think is very, very important, and I want to make sure that you guys are playing with often, is the thing called the trends section. So before I scroll down there, because I don't want you guys to get too excited, I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. So the trends section is something that was actually, it was the #1 requested feature from you guys. So it was something that like the EverBee team was like, you know what? We listen to our people. We want to provide you guys with like a very, very robust search platform, resource tool, whatever you want to call us. So we decided to go ahead and add this in right into the listing details itself. This went live on February 17th, I believe. It's actually like exactly a month ago right now. So it's been live for about 30 days or so. If you've already seen it, awesome. If you haven't played with it, we're going to go over it in detail in just a second. But we also just like a week ago, I think it was a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, we also enhanced it. So originally it was daily trends over the course of 30 days. And then that was a little bit in arrears. So what that means is it was like looking at a 30-day period, but it was 7 days ago. Okay. So we were 7 days in arrears. But now what I'm excited to show you guys is we are now able to do a little drop down to see 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 2 months, and all time. So why is this important to you? Basically, it will show you, did something peak during certain months? Let's say Christmas, let's say May for Mother's Day. Is it something that is evergreen? Or was it something that did really, really well when it first took off and then it fell down? Or was it something that like was pretty stagnant the whole time? That's what this is going to be able to help you do. And I absolutely love it because of that. So here are some examples of, let's just go through this particular listing in this case. So 30 days, for example, you're going to see this guy right here that shows you the growth rate. Let me go last 12 months and see what happens. Oh, that's even better. All right. So 200% growth rate over the last 12 months. Let's try 2 years. 1,500% growth rate. And then if I did 3 months, it is down 35%. So that's interesting to me because that was during Christmas. But I think what's also really cool to see is obviously during Christmas time, things were doing really well. And if I do, let's say I do 6 months, and I believe I'm not even going to look at this. I'm going to cover my screen. My assumption before I look at the screen is, and you guys can see hopefully my hand, I'm literally covering it so I don't see it. My assumption is something like this is going to do really, really well October through December and then maybe come down. I want to confirm if I'm right. Okay, kind of right, but also interesting. I wasn't expecting March to peak as much as it did, February and March. So obviously December peaked substantially. And that's not surprising to me at all. And it also started, this was my assumption, was things were going to start going on the up and up. I said October, November, but this makes sense. Like November 13th of last year, things started going up and up and up. And there were a couple of days that were a little bit down, but they were still, 21 sales for one listing in a day. I don't know about you guys, but that's life-changing money. So it's still really good to talk about. And then, of course, as we get closer and closer to Christmas, noting that we don't see sales really on Christmas Day unless it's like for the future. Like it's not for Christmas necessarily, right? So like the 17th of December with their shipping time makes a lot of sense to me, being the highest peak for them. So I think it's kind of interesting being able to see that these also were pretty heavy days too. So like February 18th, my mind is like, why? I wonder, so that's what these things can do, is really give us the opportunity to see, did this perform well all time? Was it something that peaked in Christmas, peaked in Mother's Day, and then was just kind of like stagnant? Or was it something that held, stood the test of time, did something, some verb, it stood the test of time for the entire time. So I'm going to go all time and see what happens. So this is great news, 1,500% increase. But what's interesting to see, first of all, that number is very interesting to see. Obviously, I am very aware. Don't come at me in the comments. I know that this is revenue. This is gross. This is not net profit. And I'm well aware of that. But that's still like life freaking changing money, even just as the revenue. And especially because I believe this is I could be wrong here. Y'all correct me in the comments. This seems handmade to me, but it also might be a print-on-demand supplier that I am not familiar with, potentially. But what I'm seeing is there is a peak a little bit, no, not even. So basically, it didn't do much of anything until it peaked in November of 24. That is very interesting and very surprising to me, to be honest. So what I'm thinking, and I'll never be able to get the answer to this, obviously, guys. Unfortunately, that's what this is. This is all inference. This is all theoretical. Unfortunately, it's not a hypothesis that I can fully test and confirm. But my thought would be something was wrong with their SEO for a very long time. And I don't know why they waited so long to get it. But once they did, boom, things happened. And or they changed these guys. So like either the SEO for search was better, or they kind of did an Etsy audit of themselves and was like, this is not performing as well as I had hoped. And I thought this was going to be a big seller. Let me change the price. Let me change the thumbnails. Let me change the description. Maybe the description was not giving people enough. So maybe they were coming to it. As you can see, 122,000 total views, but maybe the sales, and not even maybe, like the sales weren't coming, right? We could see that. We can confirm that. So I wonder if that was what was happening, is they basically did an audit of themselves, kind of like you and I did last week, over the last 3 weeks, to be honest. And then they saw that like something is not performing. We got to fix this and then see what happens. And whatever they did freaking worked, because look at that difference from December 2022, December 2023, December 2024. Incredible. So that's what I really, really love to do with this option, and being able to like even go as low as 30 days, like to see what days brought in the most amount of money for them. And these are incredible numbers still, to think that if this was something that you guys could get into, that these people, even though they have been alive for 40 months, this particular listing it didn't really perform until like right now, until the past like 6 months. So being able to see that this thing is still performing, and it's basically every single day. Let's do 3 months again together. Like we're seeing sales every single day. There's not one day that was zero. Let's do 6 months again. Okay. October 3rd of 2024 was 0 day. But every single other day has, even November 7th, which was a really low day, was still $43. They still made at least one sale that day. So why do I say all of this? And why am I showing you this? I think this is probably my favorite tool that EverBee has ever, just listened to the audience, listened to you guys, and made an exact tool. This is probably my favorite one we've ever done, outside of course, the keyword research tool, product analytics, all the things that I already love, but all of the new things that EverBee has been doing, all of the new like innovative things that they've been doing over the past like year and a half. This has to be my favorite, because I am able to see if this is something that stood the test of time, if this is a listing that should be looked more into, because the listing details show us a lot, but product analytics dashboard shows us even more, right? We know that. So this just gives me an absolute guarantee that like this thing has been on the up and up for the past 6 months, and it doesn't seem to be trickling too much down. And especially getting closer and closer to Mother's Day, especially getting closer and closer to Grandparents' Day, to obviously Christmas, any of those things, I really do see that this is an evergreen product that has experienced a 1,500% growth rate change. And it's peaked, but it's never gone to zero, except for October of last year. So that's what I really like to use this tool for. If you guys are not using it, I highly, highly recommend. It has been one of my favorite things to play with for the past month. So I'm going to just highly recommend playing around with this. And that is also why, by the way, I was looking for something that was older, because let me zoom out a little bit so you guys can see what I see. Let's say we did, trying to find one that makes sense. This one right here. So these are actually so cute. I love these. So let's say we wanted to see these positive crocheted vegetables, and we wanted to click on this guy right here. And we came in and we saw 52,000 views. It's only 7 months old, whatever. We could only choose certain things here. So if I did 12 months, I'm going to show you what happens. So you'll see the listing date was August 24th, give or take. Let's say it's August 19th, I think is what it was. So if we do August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, it's exactly 7 months, right? So I did that I knew what the answer was, but I did that to show you guys what I'm saying. It's not going to go farther back than that because it didn't exist longer than that. So we kind of only really have these guys to play with. If it's 7 months, of course, you could click 12 and see the additional 7 month. But really, the data is going to come from the 3, the 6, and the 30 days. Okay. So the good news about this one, though, is there's only, I think, 1 day with 0 sales in the past 6 months. So this is also another thing. I think these are adorable and I would buy them. Another thing that we could look at, that if you're in the crochet space, or thinking out loud, if you're not in the crochet space, if you're not in the handmade space, but knowing that Positive Vegetables with Faces is performing right now consistently the entire time it's been alive, pretty much. Like, granted, there are some days where there's only 2 sales. There's some days there's 0 sales, but like the majority of things, and it doesn't even seem to be Christmas either. Like, we got some October sales, we've got some March sales, so even if you're not a crocheter or a handmade person, knowing that these like Positive Vegetables are performing, go do that somewhere else. Go put that on a phone case. Go put that on a t-shirt, on a crew neck, on a hoodie, whatever you want as a print-on-demand seller, if that's who you are. This is just basically telling me that this concept is doing well. And then maybe it's something that I might want to do somewhere else, like on something else. And what's really cool too is coming down here, I'm seeing things like Positive Potato. That's hilarious. Like, I didn't even know that was a thing. And you can see that has a high keyword score of 450 because the competition is so low, but the whatever you call that, search volume, I almost said the Positive Potato, the search volume is super high. And obviously, if you're not doing crochet vegetables, don't use that, but like Positive Potato, I wonder if there's something that's like cute carrot or something like that, or happy carrot, or radical radish. I don't know, like whatever you guys can look up. And then supportive team gift. Like, this is a really, really high performing keyword score too. So if I had not gone through, we're in 2 different places right now, right? 2 different steps. Had I not gone and clicked Mother's Day gifts, of course, first and foremost, clicked all filters, went to star, changed star to best, then I get all of the popular nows and all of the best sellers right here in front of me. And then if I didn't, start going through each of the high level overviews to find things that were pretty over here and then confirmed even prettier over here. And then furthermore, if I did not go into the listing details to pull our newest feature, the trends section, down to 6 months, I might have overlooked this because I don't do crochet. So I might have overlooked this as a person doing research because it doesn't make sense for me. But when I did all of those other things to get to a very, very fine-tuned list, and with the help of this guy right here, now I know that I might, as a seller, want to get into the Positive Potato situation because supposedly there's 500 people looking for it, and I wouldn't have known that. So I hope all of that makes sense, guys. That's what I wanted to show you. I can even go like more in depth in this in like later videos. Obviously we can do more of these on, live streams in the future. I can do these for Etsy audits. Like, we'll play around with trends a lot more in the future. But I just wanted to give you guys a high level overview first and foremost of how I use it, how I even got there, and how you guys could do it too. Last up for today, I'm actually going to go into EverBee.io, which you could also totally do on Etsy, by the way. I will show you how. But I'm going to go to EverBee.io instead of Etsy because I want to show you that, you can do this in both places. So the other thing I wanted to look at today, as you can see, that is new. This is something that we used to have, but it was not even like remotely close to as robust as it is now. So the newest features within our new tool, Shop Analyzer, our reincarnated Shop Analyzer. So this guy right here is basically the ability to look at 3.5 million shops. And granted, we don't want to do that, right? So what if we are crochet sellers? We can actually type that right here into the search bar. And now we are narrowed down to 18,000 crochet sellers. What if we did, let's say, crochet blanket? I don't think so. I was like, I don't know if this is going to work. Crochet book. Let's see. No, shoot. I'm trying to think of something that's a little bit more narrowed down so we don't get too high in the, search itself. So let's just do handmade crochet. Let's see if that works. Okay, fine. Crochet it is. I was just trying to make my life easier, but we're going to go with crochet. All right. So with this said, this is an entire list, 18,000 shops that are currently offering crochet in some way, shape, or form right now. So why do we care? Like, what is this going to help me do? I'm going to show you. So the first thing I want to do is, as always, I want to filter some stuff out. And also, by the way, you can click customize too. So you can I have all of these off, but you can have them on if you want. It's up to you. But we're going to filter first and foremost, because I do want to get this number down. Since my search wouldn't let me, I do want to get that number down a little bit, to be a little bit make more sense. So let's just say, let's say shirt. I don't know if it's going to work. Just hoping for the best over here. Come on, buddy. That's interesting. I guess all of them have shirt in it somewhere. Okay, let's see. All right, it's not liking me right now for some reason, and I don't know why, guys. I'm sorry. I cannot seem to get it to... I honestly think it's because shirt is not in there. I'm going to just try something and see if recipe comes up. I don't think so. Okay, so we'll just pretend that didn't happen. I'm so sorry. So what I'm going to do instead is go off of what I am comfortable as a minimum monthly sales average. So if I want to look at all of my competitors and figure out these people need to be selling no less than, let's say, 30 per month. So I'm going to click in 30 here, and hopefully it will go. All right, I have a better idea. For some reason, it is just not performing for me today. All right, so let's do it in Etsy. Let's see if I can get my Chrome extension to like me, because it's mad at me right now. All right, crochet again, start from scratch. I promise I have a point here, guys. I promise. It is a very important point, and I really want to show you guys. All right, let's see. There we go. Now we're talking. I'm so sorry that took for freaking ever. Okay, so for some reason, I couldn't get her to work so well over here for me. I don't know what's going on over here. I apologize, guys, but I was able to also just recreate the exact same thing right here in Etsy, which is also really nice and better sometimes, because then you can just click X and get right back to where you're originally searching. So let's just pretend the last 2 minutes of our lives didn't happen. So we can click on whatever we want here. So you can see we went down from 18,000 to now 1315. Let's say we also want a maximum on the shop age as well. The reason why something like this would be beneficial is because, of course, these people are making hella money, but they've also been around for, I can't tell you how long, because I can't do math. Let's just, whoever can get to the comments faster and tell me what 124 divided by 12 is wins. 10 years. Jesus Christ. They've been on Etsy longer than I have. So they've been on Etsy supposedly for since 2015, which is wild. So of course these numbers are there, right? Also, by the way, thank you guys for whomever decided to put the math in, because you guys are a lot faster at mental math than I am. Me and mental math, not besties. So anyway, so that's one reason why, the main reason why I want the shop age to make sense, because I want to look and be as a crochet artist, what is actually performing right now, and what shops are thriving best that were just here, they just kind of came to business. So let's say we want the shop age to be a maximum of 12 months, and then we'll see our little blue guy go. Oh my God, guys. This happens to me too often that it's actually creepy. So we're going to get personal for a second. My angel number, I don't know if you guys can see this, but it's 222. And my sister bought this for me for Christmas this past year, and I wear it every day because it's freaky. I don't know if any of you, I'm not trying to get too weird on this podcast. Y'all might never come back, but but I do sometimes believe in numerology, and that if you see a certain number over and over and over again, it's probably someone telling you something. I don't know who that someone is. We're not going to get into that, but I feel a little bit of a connection to the number 222. And I have basically been seeing it in the most random places for about 2.5 years now. So this is an example. And I wish I like had my husband here because he sometimes doesn't believe me when I'm like, I see 222 everywhere. And it's not just on the clock. This is an example. And I'm going to show him this video when we're done here. Also, if anybody else, just because I'm looking for my tribe, and I know you guys are my tribe, and I appreciate you guys all being here every week with EverBee, but I'm also looking for my tribe, like my people as well. If you guys also have one of these, like one of my friend Kate, friends, Kate Robb, she's in the Etsy space as well, and hers I think is 1111 if I'm not mistaken. I think hers is 1111. So if any of you guys are also like interested in that, or if you have a necklace or a bracelet or something, like just drop your numbers. I would love to like kind of shout you guys out and feel a little connection more than I already do with you guys. We will move on though, because I am embarrassing myself. Anyways, when seeing 222 is cool, but that means that we now have 222 shops out of the original 18,000 that we had that have a minimum monthly sales of at least 30 and a maximum shop age, like they just became a business within the past 12 months, at least on Etsy. I'm interested to see if I were to bring this up to 100, what would happen? Dang, that's still amazing. Okay, so maybe I need to get into crochet because that's almost 100 shops, 97 shops that were born, I'm going to say born, were born in the last 12 months and have at least 100 sales a month. That's pretty incredible. Okay. So anyways, that is how we get down to brass tacks. That's how we get down to the list that we actually want to look at. So I'm happy with 97. I can play with 97. I can search through 97. So now what I'm going to do is be like, okay, do any of these like catch my eye? Like, is there anything that like this, for example, MYR, I don't know what that is. Miramar, Canada, Europe, whatever. I'm looking like USD because I am in the US. So maybe I want to look at that. So let's just say this number is really beautiful, especially because they've only been alive 8 months. Let's say this number is even more beautiful because they've been alive for 6 months and did 41,000. So maybe I want to look at them. I'm going to go to Lupica Crochet. Here's what it does. You guys might have thought that it would take me to their shop. No. It will also if you want to. It will do that too. But it is going to take us to an individualized shop analyzer. I hope you guys are looking at my screen. Yes, you are. Individualized shop analyzer right here in EverBee / in Etsy. So we're still like right now we were taken to EverBee, but here we were on Etsy. Okay. So that's what I was trying to do a second ago, but it wouldn't let me. But now we are where we need to be. And you're going to be able to see her average monthly sales, his or her, obviously that was assumptive as well. Review rate, 14%. That's amazing. That's so amazing. That means that out of all of the people that purchased from her, so if she has, let's see, does it tell me how many? I don't think it says the exact number. Okay, so let's just say 106. Again, I gotta do freaking math. I don't like doing math. I gotta tell Cody to do things that don't make me do math. So let's say if she's been alive for 6 months, so 163 times 6. Let's just say the average monthly sales is 163 is what I'm getting here. And she did 6 sales per listing. That's interesting. That's actually a really cool metric I didn't look at before. But let's just say, she's been alive for 6 months. We know she has, then 978. Right. So that's going to be like she's give or take around the 1,000 sales point. So if we do that times 0.14, that means out of basically the 1,000 people that bought from her, almost 140 of them left a review. So that is a very, very healthy and awesome, beautiful thing to look at for review rate. It's also going to tell me her estimated total revenue. Of course, this does not include discounts. So please be very mindful of that. Like this might not be a real number. We are just going off of what Etsy gives us. So don't come at me in the comments and say that revenue, we've been over this already on this call, right? So we know that this is the estimated and we know that this is the revenue. This is not minus COGS, cost of goods sold. This is not minus Etsy fees and listing fees and transaction fees. This is also not minus like what's the other thing? Like ads, like any of that, right? We know that. We're you and me. We're on the same team. However, that's still a beautiful number to see, like revenue or not. Like, by the way, guys, I had to vent for a second. I don't know if any of you are going to like this, but you know what irks me is when someone comes on the videos, because they do, not you guys, because I know you love me and I know I love you and we are a tribe. But there are some people that come onto our comments and our videos and they're like, yeah, but that's not the profit. And I'm like, I am very well aware. I never said it was the profit. I said it was the revenue. But I want to say something and I want to see if you guys like resonate with this at all. If you think about like a real, that sounds so bad because I do have a real job, but I don't have a real 9 to 5, whatever, right? So when you think about like a standard 9 to 5 situation, you guys are offered, whoever you guys are offered 100K a year, right? But then you have to like pay taxes on that, right? And then there's a lot of other stuff that you have to probably do. I don't know. It's just funny whenever I hear that like that's just revenue, that's not profit. But if you have a 9 to 5 job, are you going to say I only make 60,000 a year, or are you going to say you make 100K a year, even though you're not making 100K a year? Anyways, I don't know if that's just me, if I'm the only one that thinks like that. But when I get those comments, I'm like, you're just mad that they're making 68,000 and we're not. That's just I probably shouldn't say that. That's just my theory. But let me know if you guys agree. Like, revenue, in my opinion, yes, it's not profit. I understand that it's not take home money, but neither is a salary. And we need to see the revenue to see if this is a viable thing to get into. So I really hope that makes sense. And like that, maybe that analogy like resonated with you guys. If it did, let me know. That's just something that I've always personally thought about, because I would never say I made 60,000 a year. I would say I made 100 because that's my freaking salary. That's not mine. I'm just saying in general. Anyways, let's keep going. So what's also really cool here that I freaking love, and I am actually very confused, to be honest, because what in the halibut is she selling for $964? I don't know. I am intrigued and I want to figure that out. Anyways, we can see that whoever you're looking at, let's look at another person because she actually is freaking me out a little bit. We're going to go to this person and then we're going to go back to that person because I'm interested. All right. So this person, let's see if I can get these up. Something's not working here. I don't know what is going on with my flipping computer today. I'm so sorry, guys. This never happens to me. That's inaccurate. You guys know I always have technical issues. All right. So price breakdown for Wendy Crochets Co. I almost said crochet. All right. So this person, the average price, I'm sorry, I just hit my mic. The average price is $24. The most expensive one is $75 and the least expensive is $7. And then if you hover over them, you're going to see how many products equate to that. So this person, this is actually quite wild. Now that I open this up arbitrarily, this person has been on here for about a year. So March 2024, and she only has 9 listings. And like, look at those numbers. That's wild. So then what we can do is actually come in. Let's go back to our Lupica person we were on earlier, because I'm actually like really intrigued as to what this is. You can actually go to their listings. So she has 109, he or she has 109 listings on their page. And then it's really easy to sort. Again, we can do the exact same thing. We can just keep on keeping on. We can keep on filtering as much as we want. Let's say we want the max listing age to be 6 months. Well, I think they all are 6 months because she's 6 months old. So let's not do that. Let's do 3. And then that should filter all these out. So now we have how many? Let's see. Dang, still a lot. That's wild. But you can see that the zeros are coming the earlier they are. But you can also see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 listings in the past 2 to 3 months are making her so much money. So that's something else that I really like doing here is like either you can filter them or you can just kind of like go off of whatever you want. Like let's say you want like monthly revenue up to the top, you want total sales up to the top, etc. And then we can do what we would normally do and click on it and get the listing details. Okay. So obviously we don't have anything for the growth rate for this particular one. But what kind of tags is he or she using on that? Let's say we go to this one and we do the exact same thing. We scroll down and adorable organizer. Maybe I would have never thought of that. DIY organizer. That's pretty, oh shoot, stop it. It's an okay keyword score. We're at 100 here, being like let's go back to the original name, DIY organizer, doing pretty well. I think all the other ones are a little bit too heavy for me, but it's just an option. It's something that we can come in here and kind of look at those and make decisions on. We can also see, let's see, this one's only 4 months old, I think. So maybe we can do 3 months. So you can see that this like how many sales happen. I mean, 664 for only 8 sales. This girl's got an incredible pricing strategy going on. And then you can come in here again and see if there's anything that might custom headband, for example, that might make sense for your keyword. So I really love all of that in the shop analyzer. But we can also go to their reviews. This is something that like not a lot of people want to do, nor do I think it's a good thing necessarily, but I do want to just let you know that it exists. That we can see some 3 stars and some 4 stars and a lot of 5 stars, which is absolutely awesome. But up here you can see a little breakdown of like how you want to look at these. So newest first. I sometimes like to go to negative just so I can see if there's anything that we might need to be better at. So a quick example right here would be instructions were okay. Pattern is sort of lacking for the price. Some parts were unclear, etc. So is there something that we can learn about a little bit and maybe be a little bit better when we're creating our listings or when we're trying to fill a gap in the market? Last but not least, you can go into the About section and learn more about each of these people, including their message to buyers, their message to buyers for digital, what their shop announcement is without actually ever going to the shop itself, if they have a vacation message, if they're on vacation, and then what their stuff is here. The last thing I wanted to show you about this location of Shop Analyzer, though, is when you go to the listings, for example, of the one that you personally chose, we can also do that handy dandy tool again of tag analytics. So there is 211 tags that were utilized across her however many listings we were looking at a second ago, across that list that you might be able to go into and get even better keywords for your shop rather than going to the keyword research tool. I think that that is the best place to start, but this is another way for us to be able to hopefully find more. So frog crochet pattern, very, very good, 180 keyword score. And let's say game headphones, doing well. Cute frog crochet, doing well. Cosplay gear, doing well. So you see, like, I'm seeing basically just all really good things here. If we keep scrolling, it keeps getting worse, obviously. But I'm seeing that like this person must know what the heck they are doing with SEO to only be 6 months old, to make 664 sales in that time and be able to charge a really, really high amount for a pricing strategy. Granted, they're handmade crochet things, so like that makes sense to me. But some of the things she was selling was also patterns. So the fact that a pattern could even be sold at a higher amount and for, a short period of time in the 6 months, etc. So I hope all that makes sense, guys. Those are just like 3. We went like really deep into each of them, but those are 3 things that I do not think a lot of my guys and gals are using as like much as they should. And I really, really think that they are going to just expand your ability to do research, and it's going to make everything so much easier to find those true winning keywords and those true winning listings and those true winning shops. So I hope that was beneficial. If not, don't tell me, because I get my feelings hurt easily, but I really do hope that was helpful to you guys. And if you'd like me to go deeper into any of those 3, obviously we went pretty deep today, but if you'd like me to go into any of those more next week on Coffee with EverBee, or on a deeper dive tutorial, maybe like on YouTube or in our Facebook group, feel free to let me know, because I love them and I use them every single day, and I hope that you guys will start doing the same. So with that said, guys, you know me. If you've been here, you know me by now. I said 30 minutes. Here we are sitting pretty at 53, but I really do hope that was beneficial. You guys know I like to go deep, deep, deep with you guys. So I do appreciate everyone who is still here, even though I blatantly lied and said it was only going to be half an hour, but I do appreciate you guys. I thank you guys every single week for hanging out with me. And I will see you guys next Thursday, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, guys. Have a great day and great weekend. What are we in? What day is it? Thursday? Yeah. Have a great weekend. Bye, guys.